Okay, gonna have a little LaCroix and get a little loose because I put it up on the vote on my YouTube channel because obviously on my YouTube channel, that if you wanted to see or hear about the new upgrade that I just made to all of my equipment. Now, I do film, and I just want to say this at the top, I do like cinema and film and things more than just YouTube. I do a lot of stuff for brands where I create them ads or help with film editing. I've also been contracted to do some freelance projects, like a music video that's coming out later this month that I'm super excited. I'm gonna have a video on. I'm really, really excited to show you that project that I worked on. It was a great experience. And because I was doing those, and one of the big projects that I'm actually working on, and I guess I will just announce it here, is a short film. I wrote a short film. I'm talking to some people that might be willing to invest some money. I'm looking at some people to hire and everything. So I'm gonna hopefully be directing my first short film because it's something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be a cinematographer, which leans more into the reason of why I made this switch. And I'm very excited to tell you all about it and a little bit more information about my short film right now. Let's get into it. Okay, so real quick, a little bit of information about the short film, and then I'll put time codes, so if you want to skip ahead straight into the camera and the gear and everything, you can. But I'm really excited, and since I've already announced it, I got to give you a little bit more information. Basically, I work for an environmental company right now, and I really love what I do. I think I make a difference. I feels very rewarding, but it's not what I've wanted to do with my life. What I've always wanted to do is be a cinematographer or a director, more so the cinematography side. I want to be the next Greg Fraser. Look him up, amazing. And so I got the opportunity to kind of like direct one next year and kind of be behind the camera a little bit. And then I'm hoping to transition to just doing more strictly behind the camera. So I'm hoping with this upgrade, and you'll see why I kind of made this upgrade, I can do more cinematic things in addition to my normal reviews and maybe make my reviews look a little bit better in the process. So I'm really excited to bring it to you. It's going to be a horror, like psychological thriller. It's an idea I've had for a really long time, and I'm super excited. So on with the camera gear. So I had a Sony a6400 before, and I upgraded to the Blackmagic Pocket 4K cinema camera, the longest name in camera history. So the reason I made this switch is basically because I really am not going to be doing much with photos the rest anyways, because like I just said, I want to do more with film. So the photography side of it was kind of out. So it was really easy for me to leave like the Sonys and the Canons and everything that do photography and video and just get a camera that does just video, but not just one that does video, one that's going to be able to allow me and give me a better chance and opportunity and make it look better when I take on these projects like making short films and doing music videos and things like that. Well, that is one issue with this camera, is the batteries die very suddenly. But what I was basically, I'm gonna go over everything that I got, like I said, under $2,000, except for one of the lenses I bought. That lens I would recommend getting if you had the money. If not, I'll tell you some of the budget options that I ended up getting. So basically with my Blackmagic 4K, what I ended up doing is I got the 4K itself, obviously. I ended up getting this 2-pack battery charger that also kind of acts as a carrying case for the batteries for the Blackmagic, and they also operate for my little monitor up top. These were like less than like 20 bucks. I think they're like 20 bucks on Amazon, and it ends up giving me a total of 3 batteries, 1 for the monitor and 2 for the camera. Another thing that I thought was really important to get was a cage, so I ended up getting the small rig cage with the handle and SSD mount. That whole thing actually was a part of the kit that I bought off of Amazon because I was originally going to go with B&H. It's a long story. I was looking at buying it used. Another long story. So what I ended up doing was just buying the brand new, the camera and the rig. Whole rig setup was like $1,300 on Amazon, which worked out super well and very beneficial for me. I also went ahead and got the small rig cable mounts or cable clip things that go on the side because if I'm gonna have an HDMI cord and a USB-C, I'm gonna need something to keep those in place. So that was a really big deal for me. That one was like, I think like 15 bucks on Amazon. The next thing I got was a Samsung T5 1 GB SSD card. So these are like $150 new on Amazon right now. So in all the videos I watched, everyone was like, this is the one you need. But when they got it, it was like a year ago. Well, now they came out with the T7, and by all accounts, from what I can tell, the T7 doesn't work with the Blackmagic. So what I actually did is I got on eBay and just found one that was used. I ended up going with, I think I got one, I got a 500 gigabyte one for $30 and a terabyte one for 70, which ended up coming out to like $100, like 110 with shipping, which is about how much a 1 terabyte used to be brand new. So now I have two just in case. So I would also suggest just going on eBay and buying a lot of this stuff used if you can. I feel like things like the cage and mounts and like even SSD cards, I'm willing to kind of risk it on buying used. Camera, I wanted to buy brand new. So my monitor, which is like, I think like this big of a difference. So like this is me looking at the monitor right now. Oh my God, that's insane. The monitor it's a 7-inch Feel World, 7.5 inch. I got that off Amazon. Mounts on top of my handle. I'm actually gonna show you. So this is the setup in the hotel room. You can see the monitor. There's the Blackmagic, HDMI, the SSD, my mic setup. This is my travel tripod. This is the whole thing. It's kind of insane when you really think about it. So that monitor is great because I obviously was going to use it for YouTube. The Blackmagic doesn't have a flip up or a side screen, so I knew I was going to need something. Plus, you can barely see this screen in the daylight, so having a monitor up there is perfect. The only thing that I really have left on my setup that I feel like I really need to get is probably a rail system, a better battery pack, and then like a matte box. But as of right now, this setup has been fantastic and I've absolutely loved it. In terms of lenses, it was the Panasonic Lumix 12 to 35 f2.8. That was the one that was like $700 on Amazon, but it's a fantastic all-around lens. I also went ahead and got a Lumix double pack, which ended up having a smaller, like little teeny tiny pancake 12 to 35, which is going to be my travel one when I'm just doing stuff like this where I don't need to break out the big boy. I also got a macro 30 millimeter lens, a like 45 to 135, which is, it came with the pancake, but it was like $100 for both used. So I was like, well, that's two lenses for $100, and I can use them when I travel. But the best one that I got, and the one that I'm super, super excited to show you, this is the SLR Magic 8mm. Now this is like $150 on B&H, and it is a fantastic wide angle lens. I absolutely love this thing. Here's some footage from this lens. Absolutely just love the color that comes out of this, the light reflections that are in this. It's all manual, which is another thing. But look at this lens, fantastic. But moving on from that, another thing about the Blackmagic to note is there's like no autofocus. This lens, you can tap the screen and hold it and it'll focus in. But otherwise everything is manual, which I really like. So that's kind of like the whole setup that I ended up going with. Like I said, all of that except for the really expensive lens was under $2,000 altogether, and it's fantastic. I absolutely love this rig. I think it was a great choice. It really feels like I've elevated to an extent. But if you're kind of on that fence as well and you're like, well, I'm not really going to do much with photos and some of this stuff sounds intriguing or appealing to you, watch some more. There's one called Found Voyager. He does a lot of videos about the Blackmagic. He was a great reference and resource for me. Also, Bose Mono kind of gave me some tips and information. So if you have any of those, put them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer those for you. This isn't the end of the video. This is normally how I would end it. But, you know, put those in there and I'll give you my best input. I'm actually currently working on like a 3-minute short film in a hotel room. It's not this hotel room, it's my hotel room tomorrow. So I'm going to be using the Blackmagic in here, which I'm super excited about. But overall, like, it's just a great camera and I'm really happy that I got the chance to upgrade. I'm not really sure if this is going to be like this is why you should upgrade video. This is just my stuff. So if this interests you, I would say go for it. I mean, for about $1,800-$1,900, I basically just went from a basic Sony camera to a cinema camera, and the camera obviously isn't going to automatically make you the next, you know, Greg Fraser. Again, look him up. But, you know, I think that there is something to be said about once you get a piece of equipment that kind of gives you a little bit more confidence, which I know it sounds weird, but when I got this and I started doing some tests with it, it just felt like I was just like, oh yeah, like now I feel like I can finally do what I want to do, which is kind of funny because like I could have easily done it with my other camera, but there's something about this like new confidence came with it. And I think there is something to that, to get like a new piece of gear or something that's going to like elevate your craft, whether you need it or not, or it's necessary or not, or you could do it with something else or not. It kind of gives you this feeling, and that's the feeling that I end up running with. And I'm still, every time I break this thing out, that feeling just comes back, which is fantastic. So I'm super excited to show you everything with this camera. So stay tuned for all of that wonderfulness. And like I said, November's going to be really fun. I've got a ton of products to show you and some extra things to show you. It's going to probably be like some weeks we get like 3 or 4 videos. So be ready for that. But with all of that being said, thank you guys again very much for all the love and support. People support this channel and watch my videos. It just means the world because I love sharing this stuff with you. 1 view, 1,000,000 views, as long as you like it, makes me feel good. Hopefully it makes you feel good. So don't forget, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all of that wonderful nonsense. And I will see you next time.